Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Art Maxing on Adobe Live. If you haven't seen the show before, you're in for a real treat because we have a very, very special guest today. Jess, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me.
I am happy to have you. Jess is, I would say at this time, like a longtime friend, very talented graphic designer, illustrator, package designer, all around just amazing artist. Jess, do you want to kind of let people know what you do from your mouth as opposed to me trying to give you the intro?
Yeah, sure. So my background is in graphic design, and then in the pandemic, I lost my job, and so then I segued into illustration, and so now I run a full service illustration business, and I specialize in character portraits and surface pattern design, and just like flat lay illustration. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Awesome. I mean, that's very relatable. I'm sure some people in the chat also welcome chat. I should probably say hello, good morning, wherever you're coming from, if it's the morning, evening, or nighttime. I know we have a lot of people watching from different places, but I would say it's very relatable. Losing the job during pandemic time, trying to find something new, search out the passions. I'm glad it worked out, as from what it seems
Yeah,
like.
yeah.
Definitely found a lot of success. And it's really funny too, because I was going through your portfolio and seeing some of your work, and I knew that you worked with big companies, but I'm like, oh, Starbucks, oh, this other place, oh, Target, whoa. It's just crazy to see it, all unfold. It's very, very, very cool. But yeah,
Thank you.
thank you for being a part of the show today. And of course, if you are unfamiliar with Art Maxing, it is a mini game show on Adobe Live where we earn points just by doing things that we love. And we have some segments today to kind of get warmed up, get some points on the board, have some fun. And that first segment, of course, if you guys are familiar, is Command Z. Command Z is a segment where we're gonna guess a shortcut, just a random shortcut.
Okay.
Get learn some new things, figure out some stuff. Jess, are you ready for our shortcut on Command Z?
I'm ready.
All right, your shortcut for the Command Z segment, and of course, anyone in chat, you can play along if you get it. Jess will also get a point. So your shortcut is Shift Command A.
Oh, okay.
So feel free to ask any questions,
Okay.
any, you know. I can also give some hints.
So I guess what Shift Command A
Yep,
is?
any guess, or if you want to ask
Oh,
some
okay.
some leading questions, I can help you out. Um, like maybe if you want to know what Command A does, I can
Is it
like.
this? It's not selection. Is it direct selection?
You are
No.
so close. Like
Ah.
so close. I'll give you one more hint. So
Okay.
you're so close. It's crazy. So Command A is selection. You're
Yes.
correct on that. But usually Shift does the opposite.
It deselects?
You nailed it. Yeah,
Oh,
it's
yay!
deselect all. You nailed it.
You know what? You know what's crazy? I like memorize the command keys, and now I just it's like muscle memory,
Yeah,
and I do it, and I don't even know what like buttons I'm pressing. So like when you like quiz me, I'm like, I don't know.
it at this point feels very passive, right? Like knowing your
Yeah,
shortcuts, like no one is gonna be like, oh yes, I use Command Z for this, or I use Shift Command A for this, or Command up to get out of my
right.
window. Like it's just it feels so passive, but you're on the board, which is sweet. I mean,
Okay,
you
I
had it.
made the board.
Yeah, you're on the money. I feel like you were right there
All
with
right.
the selection too. So
I was close.
we
Yes.
all learned something today. Hopefully in chat you learned something new. It's always a fun one when we
Good.
get some ones that stump a little bit. But yeah, that's our segment. That's first segment Command Z. And now it's time for my personal favorite segment. I think a lot of people's personal favorite segments, and that is design is my passion. We're doing a design segment on Adobe Live. Can you believe it? So, if you're unfamiliar with design is my passions segment, this is where the core of the show is. There are some secret prompts that are popping up on screen that Jess actually cannot see. So, if she
Mm.
hits any of those prompts, you will hear this sound to the audience. And you'll know that she got a point. And I'll just call those out for you, Jess, so you know that you got that point. There's also some main objectives that you can earn points for, which is finishing the design, having a good time, making a mock up. I think for what we're doing today, we don't have to worry about a mock up. So we're just here to chill, have fun, and see your design process. I'm sure people would probably want to know what you're doing. So, would you like to hear your objective for today of what we're going to be drawing?
Yes.
Sweet. We are going to be designing a page for a coloring book, which I think is so
Woo!
sick. I'm very, very excited to see. We've already got a little hint right here. I'm going to go ahead and throw 30 minutes up on the clock and just give you some time to shine and show your style and the way that you design. So I'll go ahead and pop that up in three, two, one. Let us rock.
All right. So here we are. I am drawing an owl for my coloring book
Love
page.
it.
And this was actually for a pop-up event. It
Mm-hmm.
was like a for a DIY like watercolor station. So attendees could like watercolor.
Oh, that's cute.
So yeah, so I always like start my work with a sketch. Like I always like need to visualize it in some way before I can vectorize it. So that's why you're seeing this like sketch up on the screen. And then from here, I just usually lower the opacity and then I start vectorizing it. So I just put my sketch on a layer and then I start my line work and I typically use like pen or pencil tool.
Mm-hmm.
Just depends on what I'm feeling like. And yeah, I get going.
So you do your like textured design process in Illustrator. I see that you're using a tablet from what it looks like, right?
Yes. Yeah, I have a Wacom Cintiq Pro 27.
Nice.
So yeah. So,
Nice. I'm jealous.
yes, I know. So I mean, sad story, like I think most people know, my art studio burned down in the Eaton fire, and
Mm,
so I had a Wacom Cintiq, and sadly that is no more. May it rest in peace.
mm-hmm.
But my mentor, she bought me a new one, which is really, really
That's really
generous of
sweet.
her.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean that I don't want to like divulge too deep into things that may still be a little traumatizing obviously,
Yeah, yeah.
but like for you specifically, but so share as little or as much as you want, but I'm sure
Yeah.
that starting from scratch again was something that was extremely difficult, but like seeing the support in the community and also just like the strength of you just bouncing back as fast as you did, I feel like is very admirable, because I think for a lot of people something like that can very much just like take the wind out of your sails.
Yeah. Yeah, no, totally. Yeah, it was beyond like traumatizing.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I think like I had the support from the community and that really helped me get back on my feet quickly. So, because a lot of people are like, wow, you have this like new studio space already. And it was because like so many like friends and family and like strangers, just clients like donated and just helped me get back up and running again, which is just like so generous
I
and
mean,
kind.
I think that's what part of the art community is, right? Like it is a lot of like paying it forward, not like with
Yeah.
expectation, on the back end, but like I think of your art career and the things that you've done, and obviously I've done a little bit of research because we have some questions in the latter half, but like you've done a lot in terms of education and giving to people and being very transparent about your
Yeah, like
process and resources. So it's
yeah,
nice.
yeah, when I was first starting out in illustration, like I had like a lot of questions about how to run my business and there was like a lot of gatekeeping. Like,
Yeah.
like a lot of artists that like didn't want to like share, their trade secrets or like want to help out like a fellow artist. And so I kind of was like the opposite. I was like, okay, if I figure this out on my own, I want to like share and help other people like as much as I can. And so, I think that really helped in the long run. It was kind of like it was like karma for me.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that's very, again, relatable. Something that like just I don't know. I feel like every artist has experienced in some capacity of trying to break into some style or some method of art, or we had a letter work artist on a couple weeks ago, or maybe an episode or two ago, depending on when you're watching. But and even like learning techniques like that, lettering, illustrating,
Yeah,
mock-ups, package design, it's not something that is readily shared, or at least at the time wasn't. And I feel like that is shifting for the better. Like people don't feel like this line of work is inherently competitive, right? We are
yeah,
freelancers working to get a new job, get the next job, work with the next company. But I don't think it needs to be. It can be something that is like all encompassing. I help you get a job, you help me get a
totally.
job. I, suggest this person to you, you send this person to buy a t-shirt for me. Like it can be this cycle of like, oh, we're just
Yeah.
uplifting artists around us. And I feel like not many freelance jobs are like that.
No, absolutely. And I think that was like a mindset shift for me. It was like just shifting to like abundance mindset where it was like we're not actually fighting for jobs.
No,
There's plenty to go around. Let's help each other out, and it's like if I am like too busy to take on a project, I will like happily pass it along to like someone I know that's going to be a good fit. And like vice versa. Like I've gotten jobs from like friends just because like we look out for each other. And I think that's so
absolutely.
important than like staying like isolated and just like I don't know, like especially if you're a freelancer and you're working on your own, like you need that community just to, help you
Absolutely.
out.
I fully agree. And if anyone in chat,
Yeah.
do you want to share an experience with you having some gatekeeping issues, like somebody gatekeeping something for you? Do you want to share an experience of maybe someone doing something very kind and sharing things with you, sharing some knowledge, free knowledge or information with you? I'd love to hear it. And it's always nice to hear those other examples of those stories, because I feel like again it's something that is a universal experience of
It is. It
just
is.
having to kind of figure things out on your own. I remember, so the way that I started off with art and design is I started off screen printing. And you want to talk about gatekeeping?
Oh.
That
Oh,
is the craziest industry for gatekeeping. It is insane.
really?
People don't want to talk
Okay.
about the way that you burn screens. People don't want to talk about the way that
Dang.
you can print without, without like the expensive chemicals, or what tape to use,
Okay.
or what shirts to buy. Like it's just, at least at the time, I should say. So it was a lot of like
Yeah.
trial and error.
Hmm.
I feel like it's changed a lot though, especially with any like trade or physical art stuff. It's nice that people are nice, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
It's very
That's
very cool.
so like before right before the fire, I had a laser
Oh,
cutter.
was it like X
And then
Tool?
it was an X tool.
No,
And they
no.
sent me a laser, they sent me a screen printer, and I was so excited to like learn how to like make screens and like
Yeah,
start screen printing. I got it all set up, and then I was like that week I was like I'm gonna like start like screen printing, and then the fire like
it's
took it
so
out even before I
frustrating.
used it like one time. I was like,
So
but
frustrating.
good news, I finally got grant money from LA County.
Whoa.
So I bought myself a new one. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna like get this going again.
See, that's
So
something I really want to invest in, is like that, because that's a completely different way of screen printing, and it's extremely accessible. Like it's
yeah.
nuts. I don't know if anyone in chat has heard about the X tool. It's a like laser etching printer, and you So the way that screen printing works is you essentially emulsify, you use a chemical that hardens on a screen, and you place a black like clear sheet with black printing of your design, so it's like negative space, and you're like flash curing this chemical onto this screen. It's like a mesh screen. So everything that's black is not curing, everything that's clear cures. Then you hit it with a pressure washer and it falls out and you have your screen. The issue with this is if you don't have the right timing for the curing, or if your pressure washers too like hard, it'll break off, pieces of the screen print, like the what should be hardened. There's a lot of difficulties to it, but with this X tool, it is very convenient because you just, if I'm not mistaken, I might be wrong, I'm pretty sure you just let the entire screen harden, and the laser actually like precision cuts all of the pieces
Yeah.
out that you need.
Hmm.
And it's just like you can do that on a lazy Sunday, just sitting
Yeah.
at your desk, go downstairs, hit it, and just let it go. I think I would want one for that, and also to do like laser, like the what do you call it? Not epoxy, but like plexi keychains.
Yeah.
I think they're
Hmm.
so cute, and I just want to do more stationery so bad. It's like my goal for this
Me
year,
too.
more stationery. So I
And
see.
toys. So you
Oh,
want to do
yes,
toys too?
and toys. Absolutely. Absolutely. So I see that, I just want to double check. You are using the pen tool, right?
I am using the pen and the pencil tool. It's
Well,
like a in shape, like shape building. Sometimes I need like a perfect curve. Sometimes I
mm-hmm.
use like the line tool, line segment. I
Absolutely.
use
Well,
I use
that
all the
is
tools.
so convenient because one of your secret objectives was using the pen tool. So you got
Okay, good.
another point on the board.
I'm using the pen tool right now.
Absolutely. Yeah, I kind of want to delve into your process a little bit. I know we've been chatting about like some fun projects and I've been yapping about screen printing, but I find it very interesting knowing that you are a fresco artist, right? You know a lot about fresco. I think I've even learned some stuff from classes that you've posted, but doing your coloring pages in Illustrator, right? There's a
Yes.
different feel, a different tactileness to it. Is there a specific reason why you would work in Fresco versus Illustrator? Is it project by project?
Yeah. So for Fresco, it's iPad
Mm-hmm.
only. And
Mm-hmm.
so what's nice about Fresco is that you have like three different types of brushes. You have vector brushes, you have like pixel brushes similar to like Photoshop.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have live brushes, which are like
Love it.
they yeah, like watercolor, they like bleed and like it really feels like you're painting with watercolor, which
That's
is awesome.
crazy.
So yeah, I think fresco's great for mostly if you want those like textures. And then it does do vector, but sometimes like if you need that precision,
Right.
that's when I go into Illustrator because it's like I need the like specific line weight and like so it's a little more technical.
That makes
So
sense.
yeah, and I can like edit the line weight too if I want to make it thicker and it's just it's a little bit more time consuming because it's like I'm like plotting out the lines,
Mm-hmm.
but in the end, I think it works better for coloring pages.
I think you have more control too, right? Especially with something that you're
Yeah,
might
yeah,
be
like I would
publishing or
say
something.
yeah, like fresco's a little bit more organic and this is more yeah,
Yeah.
technical, has more precision.
It's funny because I think that's why I've moved to Fresco. I've always been like the mascot designer. Always, 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 always. I've
Oh,
loved it.
okay.
But I think my true passion has been wanting to do just character design in general. Like I don't want to be like locked
Hmm.
into a box of like this is the rubberneck, running man. Like I want to do something a bit different, and like discovering
Hmm.
Fresco and delving into it and watching your tips and Chris Prizak's tips, and I bring him up like
Chris is the
every
best, yeah.
show, and I'm sure he probably thinks I'm so creepy because like, but like he really did like open up the world to me of like, oh, there is a lot of power behind this, especially being so familiar with
Yeah.
Illustrator, bringing the Fresco side in from, or bringing the fresco design into Illustrator. It's just like
Totally.
it just makes it so much easier. It's so
It
nice. It's fun,
is.
fun for
And he has
projects.
like such great tips too. And like he like compares like software and like
Hmm.
what's best. And like he shares his favorite like brushes and like, yeah,
Yeah, and it's also like a lot of
his
free
tips.
stuff too, which I always appreciate. Like,
Yeah.
I feel
Oh yeah.
like I don't get enough free like assets and things as a graphic designer. I just don't focus on that enough. I'm always like, I'll just spend the
Yeah.
$30, but like it does add up
It
super
does add
quick.
up. And there's actually so much you can get for free
Oh yeah, it's
if
crazy.
you look hard enough,
It is
and you ask
absolutely
around.
crazy. Yes, absolutely. I mean, I think there's a lot of people in the community that are willing to share some free stuff. I want to call out something free. And anyone in chat, if you want to call out something that you got for free, I would love to hear it. Some type of asset.
I will tell you,
Yeah,
it's free, Adobe Fresco.
that is true,
And not, a lot of people
which is
don't know that.
crazy, which is wild to me. Like I
It's 100% free.
is, and this is gonna be bad as the person hosting the Adobe show, but is that's something newer? I'm assuming, right?
I think they announced it like a few months ago. I think it was
Yeah,
back in October. It
it's
was like shortly
crazy.
after Max. I think they announced it.
It's crazy. Like it definitely. I mean, it
Yeah.
makes sense though, right? It's such a powerful tool. It's kind of just like a layup to make it accessible because there's it is, for lack of a better term, a gateway into the Adobe space. It's the
It
most
is.
accessible,
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah, yeah, especially yeah, if you're just starting out
Hmm.
and you bought yourself an iPad and you want to like learn how to draw, like I feel like it's totally accessible and it's a great place to start.
Absolutely, got to start with those. Um, what do you call it? The thing that everyone started with, where you like do like the blocked out traces of like someone's pet that are like
Yeah,
lineless.
yeah,
Like we all had to start
yeah.
from somewhere. That's where I
The
started. That's for sure.
faceless pet portraits.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
know what I'm talking about? Like I feel like that's
Yeah.
a universal. Like, oh, this is it. Block out the
Yep.
shapes. So
Yep.
I kind of want to talk about like your experience as like a professional, because
Yeah.
I think that out of all the people I've had on the show and all of the friends that I've had talk to and all these things, you definitely have the most extensive portfolio, and I would say probably the most experience in the design world, obviously aided to the fact that
Dang. I
you
feel like that's a very high compliment.
it's true though. I mean, even when I met you from the beginning, I was, and when I say intimidated, I don't mean like in a negative way. I mean more of like, oh, I
Oh,
like you
okay.
have so much knowledge and experience, and you did a
Aw.
talk when we initially met at in New York, about your experience, and the world of inspiration and pushing through adversity and stress, and it resonated with me
Apparently,
definitely.
I'm really good at that. So the
Yeah.
universe just keeps throwing it to me.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, hopefully it's no
I know.
more.
Hopefully, yeah, it just gets better from here.
Yeah.
Like,
It's hard to, I
I'm
mean, knock
hoping.
on wood, but it's hard to top losing a house. I'm not gonna lie.
I know. I was just like, I mean, I know it's like cliche and like everyone tells you this, but it's like at least you have your family and your
No,
health and
that's
like,
true.
but honestly, like it's true. Like, and that's really like it kind of put things in perspective. I'm like, don't get me wrong, like losing your house and like your studio, and like I also lost my childhood home, like
Yeah.
very traumatic, but it's also like physical things, and it's like my parents are okay. I'm okay, my husband's okay, my daughter's
Yeah.
okay. It's like we have each other. We still get like we have Sunday dinners together. It's like we have that family time.
The fact
And it
people were safe, I think that's
yes.
the
Yeah.
the most important thing. I mean, I'm talking from the most privileged position as someone living where there's no fires ever, right? But um, I think of back to like tornado season down in South Carolina, right? And it really is
Yeah.
like that is something that truly happens. You can lose it all
Yep.
instantly.
Hmm.
And I think a lot of people have never experienced that before, but they're at the end of the day, you have your family, you have your still have your skills, you still have your parents, you still have, the memories of things, maybe not the physical things,
Yeah.
but that I feel like can be
Mhm.
so strong, especially too.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it just put a lot of stuff into perspective for me. And it was like I listened to this book called The Five Types of Wealth, and like he talks about, like wealth as we know it, like
mm-hmm.
money, but he also talks about like time and like social, like community wealth. And it's
Mm-hmm.
like, so I may not be, like wealthy and like physical things, but I have like a ton of social wealth, like being in the community. I have friends that have my back, and I have, my physical wealth and just like time is a sense of wealth. So
Absolutely, 100%. And I think that time is very valuable. I think that your experiences and the ability to continue doing the things that you love, with the time frame that we were given on this little moon rock, whatever it is, like, being able to do the things that we enjoy doing and do them well, and it's very nice. I just want to cut in for a second and let you know you have about 10 minutes left. You're doing great.
oh dang.
I know.
Okay.
It's been flying
That went so
by. we've been
fast.
we've been chatting. 30 minutes is fast, but we do have a
Okay.
sketch, so we definitely have a general idea of what's going on.
An
No
idea, yeah.
no pressure,
I
no
got,
pressure.
I mean, I got a lot of them
Yeah,
done.
I mean, I would say three-quarters of it is definitely done. You're crushing. But I kind of want to go back to this time thing,
Yeah.
because it's so relevant and so relatable, because I'm gonna sound like I'm probably gonna make some people hold their backs, and I apologize, but like, as a 27-year-old who's like in the design world and in the design space, even with the opportunities and the position I have now, which I'm extremely grateful for. Like, I could not be more grateful to have a platform to highlight other artists and, do fun stuff like this. I still feel like I haven't done enough with my career. And I feel like that's something that
Yeah.
a lot of people experience. And I feel like I have not done enough with the time that I have been allotted, if that makes sense. Like, I'm not being as
Yeah.
efficient as possible. And it's such a stupid thing to like feel, because there's still so much time. Like I think of when we were at Adobe Max, like Aaron Draplin. Um he's, if I'm not mistaken, in his 50s, maybe, I don't know,
Probably.
but he is like such a wealth of youthful energy,
Yes.
he's just an absolute nutcase. And
Yes.
that, like, he's seen so much success later in his life as a designer,
Yeah.
and it makes me
Totally.
feel like, oh, okay, so all the 16-year-olds that are working with Apple right now, like, I don't have to feel bad.
No.
I got time.
Yeah, I didn't see success until like after the pandemic,
Mm-hmm.
until I was like 36,
Mm.
It's like I thought that like success in my mind was like being a manager or a senior designer at like a corporate
Right.
toy company. And then it's like when that was taken away from me, it was like, no, I realized like there's so much more that like, I couldn't even visualize until it was like taken away.
Right.
So, yeah, so I don't know. I feel like I'm like, yeah, I've seen like way more like success, and I feel like it's not even over for me now. Like I feel like, in 5, 10 years, it's gonna be even
Completely
bigger
different,
and
yeah.
better and brighter. So
I mean, when doors
yeah,
close,
don't
others open, right?
exactly. Yeah,
And it's interesting
totally.
how the world kind of shapes itself to open those opportunities for you. It always is hard, though. It's hard to know when those opportunities are like being presented, or if it's just like, oh, this might
It
be the next
is.
thing. Like,
And sometimes they're presented to you in like unconventional ways, like getting laid off from
yeah.
like what you think is your dream job, or, your house burning down. I mean, I don't know, but I feel like there's got to be some bigger, better thing to come out of that.
Right.
I'm like,
Absolutely.
I'm determined.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's also like one of those things that I feel like, again, having support from people around you, support in the community, and people that like believe in you, like, I think of
Yeah.
my wife and my mom and people that have always supported these endeavors, even when I do make $12 in the month, you know, like, and I
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
negative $15 in my bank account. Like, that's a very real reality of this line of work. Like, you're gonna be broke. You're gonna have,
Yeah.
you
You're
know,
gonna have some hard
oh,
times.
for sure,
Like,
of course, like you're not gonna get that stable paycheck. You're gonna probably, I mean, if you're as a privileged position as I was, probably be borrowing money from your mother. You know, like
yeah.
you gotta, but like there, there is there is a rainbow over the hill, I guess would be the word. I don't know how you would say that. It's probably a really bad saying, but you know, there's always a silver lining. I feel like, especially when you're very passionate about stuff. I met so many
Mhm.
people that are doing things just to do it, have no social media presence. They're just like, I just enjoy making art, and I'm so
Yeah.
envious of
I
that.
mean, that's how I started like in the pandemic.
Mm,
I started my account from scratch, zero
it's
followers. And
crazy.
then I just, you know what? I showed up every day. I was just like posting regardless if it got 5 likes or 500, it's
Mm,
just like I'm just gonna show up and like just share my art. It's like here I am. And yeah, it like paid off in like a huge way. And so I don't know. I think that's like probably like the best advice I ever received was like as an artist, you just have to like show up.
right.
Like you just have to share your work.
Absolutely. I think that's the thing that I'm still kind of wrapping my brain around, because I do a lot of work on the side for myself and personal work for like stupid things and fun stuff, but like I don't post it. I never do. I just like
Yeah.
don't know
You get
why.
like
A
self-conscious
little
and
bit,
like,
I think, self-conscious, and also just like I have an idea of what I want my feed to look like, and then I
oh
like
yeah.
bounce back and forth of like, no, I don't care. Wait, I do care. No, I don't. You know, like just this crazy back and forth that just shouldn't exist. You know, just like
Yeah.
post the thing, do the thing, have a good time. Like, I think that's like the motto of this show, but also just like generally, I don't know, the mindset that is shared amongst the viewers of the show, and the guests we have is like, it comes back every time in episodes of just do what you want for fun. Like, you know what I
Exactly.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
you don't have to have a reason to do it. You don't have to be making money. Like, you can just enjoy it, and you will find your audience. You'll find success. You'll find interest in, you know, new hobbies. Like, it's just good to have hobbies. I feel like.
I have a lot of
Yeah, yeah.
those.
Are there any hobbies as of recent that you have
Oh,
uh
um,
done?
yes. So I took a printmaking class. So it's interesting,
Sick.
like I I paid for this class like before the fire.
Mm-hmm.
And so the fire happened and then like the class was gonna start like 2 weeks after. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, this is like the worst timing ever. But
100%.
it's like I already paid for it. I'm like, I'm just gonna like show up. And it was like the best thing. It was just like art therapy because like other
Yeah.
people that were in the class also lost their homes. And so we would talk about it and then we would just like create art together. And it
Mm-hmm.
was just like so like therapeutic. And I just created art for fun. I didn't share like any of it on Instagram. It was just like art for me.
Yeah.
And I learned different types of printmaking techniques. And one of them was the risograph machine. And I was
Love.
like, I
Love.
loved it. And I was like,
Oh,
this is so much fun. So I really want to like, they don't offer like studio hours, unfortunately, but I was like, oh, like I gotta find a place that like offers studio hours so I
yeah.
can come back and just like make stuff. But I made like memo pads. Like they had this huge
Oh,
like guillotine cutter and you could like get like perfect cuts on
that's
like
so
a,
sick.
stack of paper. So that was so much fun. I like, and it was useful. I made this memo pad. So
Absolutely. I mean, I love Rizzo
yeah.
printing. It's like one of my favorite things of all time. I've been working, well, a lot of my art is like emulating Rizzo printing without it being
Uh-huh.
Rizzo.
Yeah.
And there's some places here in Calgary. Shout out Yokeless Screen Printing, or I guess
Oh,
printing. They're a Rizzo studio that's like so cheap. It's like incredible. Too
nice.
kind. We got about A minute 30 seconds.
A minute. Okay. I'm gonna
So I
finish.
figured I'd let you know. We're making some great progress. Like,
Making some
seriously.
progress. I
Like,
can show you. Let's see. Get my I don't know. I got the
so
owl. He's
cute.
just kind of hanging out. He needs a branch. So this is an actual the base off an actual owl that lived like in my property in Altadena. He lived in my
Oh,
backyard. And my daughter, I guess it was a her. My daughter named her Peaches.
oh,
And
cute.
so this
Peaches
is
the
this is
owl.
a little like tribute to Peaches that lived in my backyard.
Oh. Do you want to kind of give us like a little roundup since we're kind of like about at our minute mark of kind of like what we did? There was
Yeah.
the process was really I feel like watching, right? Because it was a lot of
Yeah. It was a lot of outlining.
yeah, exactly. So you want to kind of run us through like how you got to this point?
Yeah, so I used the pen tool quite a bit and I used pencil tool. Sometimes if I just want like a little more organic shapes, I'll use that. I also used the shape tool for like stars and like ellipse and um yeah, Pathfinder.
Yeah.
I love the Pathfinder to knock out some shapes, and that's I usually use that as well as I think it's the shape. Is it Shape Builder?
Oh
Yeah, I
yeah.
use Shape Builder sometimes.
Shape Builder makes me so upset because I can never get it to work, but it is a very very useful
So
thing.
useful. Yeah, I think I actually learned with the Pathfinder first.
Hmm.
So that's like my natural go-to. And then they added the Shape Builder like later on. But I was so used to using it, so I usually gravitate towards the Pathfinder
Amazing.
before using
Well,
yeah.
believe it or not, that's all of our time for this segment.
Ah, I want to finish.
No, I understand.
I'm
I
just
definitely
kidding.
understand. Well, this is a
I'm getting
perfect
there.
time to point out that if you guys want to hop over to the Discord, then you might just be able to see this little finished product, see some more stuff from Jess, see, have a conversation, some cool stuff like that. I'm going to pop it back over to our faces because it's not over yet. Make sure you don't leave people in chat. I know it feels like we're done drawing, so the segment's over, but we have my personal favorite segment. And this segment's all about you, Jess. This segment is called
Okay.
For Future Reference. This is all about you. I've researched some questions regarding your life, your work,
Oh,
and you'll
okay.
have some opportunities to get some points on the board
All
as you
right, all
answer
right.
these questions. Are you ready for those questions?
I'm ready.
And we have about I should establish. We have about like 15ish minutes, 17ish minutes. So feel free to delve into it. We can chat as much as you want or you can expand as much as you want. Probably ask some questions cuz I'm a curious little boy. I'm sure people in the chat are curious as well. Um so we talked about gatekeeping a little bit while you're designing and like, how you share resources, and that is something that you do not gatekeep but share your resources. And I really appreciate that you share your experience, you're very open about your experience, and I feel like that is extremely well reflected in your skillshares
Ah, thank you.
classes. Like I love the assets that you provide and the information that you provide for your skillshare classes and your workflow. Just seeing your workflow is really really cool. So my question for you is, how many Skillshare students do you have?
Oh, um, well, okay. Like followers that follow me?
Specifically, people enrolled in your classes.
Oh, okay. I think one course has like 3,000.
That is correct.
Okay,
That is correct.
yay.
So you have 3,000 on one course,
Yes, I
and you
think I
have
have
two more
like
courses.
okay, I think I have maybe like 1,000 on one,
That
on
is
the other one.
also correct. So you got one more. Putting
Okay.
those together, we're at 4,000.
And then the third, I think it has like 800 or something, or
Mm,
900?
mm,
More? Less? I don't know. Oh, is it 1,200?
mm.
1,500?
Keep going, keep going, keep
1,700?
going.
Oh, 2,000?
You got it. You got it.
Oh, okay. I haven't checked. I haven't checked in a
Yeah,
while.
so in total, 6,000
Oh,
people
that's
are
good.
enrolled in your class, learning about the things that you are providing to them, which is very, very kind. And I'm kind of curious too, like what did that process look like of, I think education on like Instagram or YouTube is very different than like a class that people are subscribed to and
Yeah.
paying for. Was that an opportunity you reached out to them? Did they reach out to you?
They reached out to me like a
Nice.
few times and I turned them down because I had like imposter syndrome. I was like, I can't do this. And then even like when I was like creating my first class, I was like I started with their Teach Lab program.
Hmm.
So then I get assigned like a coach and then they kind of like outline my course and they like help me, they like guide my hand through the whole process. And even then I was like there's so many times like when I wanted to just stop and like
Yeah,
because I was doubting myself and I
fair.
was like I can't do this. I was like this is, and I learned a lot from that class and like your first course is always going to be a little cringy.
Sure,
You're watching it
sure.
back, you're just like, "Oh, like I sound terrible." But no, I'm really glad that like I did it and like so many people found it helpful and
Hmm.
like they like still like create projects in that little course. So yeah, another lesson in just showing up is like sometimes you got to work through that self-doubt,
It
that
seems like
imposter
a lot
syndrome.
of people resonated with those courses. I mean, and it's really nice. I think that we're not promoting Skillshare, but like it is a tool in the art
Yeah.
space, and I think it's always very interesting to hear from friends that have done courses on Skillshare. Like that's
Yeah,
something.
and I will add too that in the pandemic,
Hmm.
like that's how I learned. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
I picked up the iPad and I was like, what do I do? And then it was from taking so many Skillshare classes, and then I would create little projects, and then I would just want to share them
yeah.
on Instagram and be like, look what I made in Skillshare.
I had
So
a very funny content idea. It's probably not original at all, but I was thinking of like to highlight friends' skill shares, and also like that would just be a funny YouTube video to be like sign up for the 3 month free trial and be like I took a Skillshare class every week for free or whatever, and just like
yeah, yeah.
not obviously not share the people's content, but be like, oh, I took Jess Miller's class and then I learned how to do this, and then like I'll just be like at my monitor just like drawing like crazy. I feel like it'd be kind of funny. Like, do you
Yeah.
actually learn? Just like super clickbaity or whatever. But it's cool. Like, I
I do. I learned a ton.
yeah, yeah. I think it's a very useful resource, and it's cool and like weirdly surreal to have like friends that like do the classes, because it's like
I know, right?
it's feels like very cyclical and full, or maybe cyclical is not
Hmm.
the right word, like like
Full
perfect.
circle moment.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Thank you. Cyclical is not the right word. So that's perfect segment to move on to the next question. Perfect segue. Another thing that I love about your work is your poster work, like your um just the way that you like do motivational posters, and scrolling through your
Hmm.
Etsy. I really really enjoy your Etsy and the setup of that format and how you just have a very diverse. I wouldn't say like portfolio because it's things that you're selling, but like kind of portfolio, right? Like showing
Hmm.
people what you work on. Um, so my question for you is, what is your most sold item in your Etsy shop?
Oh,
There's a
oh,
lot of options. 146 sales or something like that. Think like
oh.
60 products, something like that.
Is it my? I'm trying to. I'm trying to remember now.
It's tough. It's
It's
tough being
getting
put on the
fuzzy.
spot.
Is it a sticker or is it a
It
poster?
is a poster.
Oh, okay. Is it my peach tigers or some kind of tiger?
You nailed it. It's actually a tie. You nailed it.
Okay, good.
It's
Oh, okay,
so
good.
it was a tie between the Peach Tigers and the What You Water Grows poster.
Oh,
That one has a
yeah, yeah.
lot of
That's it.
sales, and it's really cute.
Oh,
Like it's nice to have
yeah.
some motivational poster stuff. And I'm kind of curious too, like with your Etsy, because I have an Etsy. I'm sure there's people in the audience that have Etsy. What do you create work specifically with the intent of like, okay, this is gonna go on my Etsy page? Does it kind of go full circle of like, I just really like this, I want other people to have it? Like, how do you stock it up, especially with having like 80
Yeah.
products? That's a lot of work.
No, it's usually I didn't even have any intent to sell on Etsy, and then so many people were asking me like, "Can I have a print of this?" Or like, "Do you sell this as a print? I want to send it to my friend." And so then I'm like, "Well, I guess I could just like open up an Etsy shop
Yeah.
because that's like the easiest thing
Yeah,
to
yeah.
do." So I just did that, and then it was getting kind of stressful, like shipping everything, and I would like forget, and then
Right.
it would be late. So then I just switched to like drop ship, and it was like
Yeah.
the best thing ever because after my studio burned down, it was like I didn't lose any inventory,
Right.
so it's
Oh
like
my
still
gosh.
able to ship.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like
So
drop
it
ship
worked
is
out.
good. Like I feel a little not I wouldn't say weird. Weird isn't the right word, but I feel
Yeah,
like a
it's a little.
little funky about merchandise drop shipping, like t-shirts
Yeah,
and stuff, because I feel like the quality isn't quite there yet. But with
yeah,
posters, it's like it's paper. You know what I mean? Like
it's paper, right?
how
And
hard can it
I
be?
checked the quality; it's fairly good,
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
it makes my life easier.
No, absolutely. And I think it's again a great accessible way for people to get started, like especially if you just want your
Hmm.
work out there. Like
Yeah,
Fiorella helped me a lot with like setting up Etsy, and I talked to other Jess or not other Jess Sarah, other Sarah, Sarah and
yeah,
Miscellaneous, and she helped me a lot
yeah,
with
yeah.
like doing some setup with Etsy, and
Yeah, she's had a lot of sales
it's
on
crazy.
Etsy.
Like 1,500 or like 1,800. And
Oh,
I'm
that's
just like, I couldn't
awesome.
even imagine.
That's so good.
Imagine shipping out 1,800 orders. It's a
No,
nightmare.
no, that's crazy.
Absolutely nightmare. I actually have a funny story, short story. I've mentioned it once on the stream before, but I one of my experiences with blowing up on social media was I posted like a t-shirt, like it was or a hoodie, a yellow hoodie, that had like some cute little designs on it, and it like overnight blew up like 400 sales, and I was
Wow.
printing out of my kitchen doing all of the
Oh my
production on my
gosh.
own, and it was so
Oh,
scary because I was like, oh, like I would make like a sale a week. I was not
yeah.
full-time freelance.
It's like the best thing ever, but you're like not
Oh,
prepared
it
for
was
it.
crazy. It was like, and I had it listed so much higher than I meant for it to be, right? Like, I think it was like I sold it was on Gildan, and I was selling them for like $60 with $20 shipping. So like I woke
Dang.
up and I had like $30,000 in my bank account.
Cha-ching.
Yeah, and I'm like, uh,
You're like,
uh,
what
yeah, I was panicking
happened?
because I hadn't seen more than like a
Oh,
grand in my bank account at one time. At that point, I was just like, what am I
that's
gonna do?
exciting.
It was fun. It was fun to try to
Overnight success.
work through it, but like it took I think like 6 months to fulfill all the orders because it was just like
Dang.
printing,
Yeah.
messing it up, trying it again, messing it up. But
Yeah, because you said you're doing that in like your kitchen. It's like, whew.
it's crazy, absolutely crazy. Well, I've got one final question for you, and we're kind of approaching our 50 to 52-ish minute mark, which is great. So
Okay.
feel free to expand as much as you would like. One of the things I like to do with guests that come on the show is scroll through their Instagram and go as far back as I can.
Oh dear.
You have a lot of posts on Instagram. I think you have about 800. So it was a lot of
Oh
scrolling,
no.
not as much as Terrence.
Are you gonna go back to my first
We are
post?
going back to your first post. And I'm curious,
I think I know what it is.
what is the first post? And bonus points if you can tell me the year it was posted.
Well, I posted it in 2021,
Yep. Yep,
and
yep,
is
yep.
it like two toucans?
Yep, that's 2 points. You nailed it. You absolutely nailed it.
I do because I remember. I think it was in August. I posted.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So
Yeah.
what
So anyway,
was?
yeah, I remember.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I actually remember like the first one I drew, and I think it was just me like doodling, and I like these funky toucans. I think I like flipped them, and I made it kind of more like a graphic thing. And then because later on, I think I talk about it
Mm-hmm.
like in a year later, I redraw the toucan, and
Oh,
it's like
sick.
so much cuter.
To
I
see
think it's
the
on my Etsy shop. Yeah.
comparison.
Yeah, I was just like, oh, like look how far I've come, like, in a year. So
Absolutely. I
I
mean,
think that that's like such a good thing to
yeah.
like scroll back and like see how far that you've come in just like a year or like 3 years, because like we don't do that enough. I think we're
Right.
always like concentrated on like the present time, and we're like, oh, I'm like not. doing as good as like this person, or I'm falling behind because of that person's, has so
Right.
much success. But then when you look at your journey, you're like, oh, holy cow, like I've, gone so far.
Absolutely. I mean, one of my favorite quotes ever is if you can look at your art and be like, "Wow, this is garbage," then you grew. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You if you can look at past art and say you hate it, then you know that you're growing and your style is changing for the better.
I don't hate my old art,
Right,
but
right.
it's definitely yeah, you gotta start somewhere.
Yeah,
You
there's some
gotta
art that I look at of mine and I'm like,
I do have
"Man,
a faceless portrait in there. I do
yeah."
remember
I
it
love
was
it.
very, yeah, it was like maybe like my third post ever, and she's like wearing a hat and she has like no face.
That's so cool. I mean, I'm also kind of curious. I just realized the collar of this has been flipped out the entire time, which is hilarious. So I'm gonna fix that. Probably driving people insane in the chat. But
I did not notice.
no,
No,
okay,
you
good,
look
good,
fine.
good. So I while with our last like couple minutes, I think a perfect place to end on is kind of talking about how you reached your art style, like where you are, because it
Mm.
is so distinguishable. It's so recognizable as like this is Jess, you know?
It's
And
so funny you say that because I feel like I like change it up all the time.
like I don't know, I think it might be the colors or just like the
Colors. I
you know,
do love colors. I think color can be like a cohesive thread to your
100%.
art. So
Absolutely.
even if and I think like that's what I tell people that are kind of like set on a signature style. Like I think it's important, but um it's also important just to explore and like have fun and like just create art, and like whether it's like watercolor or you dip into some printmaking or you do like screen printing, it's like, as long as you're just creating art, I think that's more important than kind of like trying to like go down this narrow rabbit hole to find your style,
I
if that makes sense.
1000% agree. And what a great way to end off the segment of For Future Reference. Jess, thank you so much for coming on. We got to tally up your points, but at first I got to ask you some questions. Did you have a good time?
I did. I had an awesome time. Thank you for
Amazing.
having me.
That is a point on the board and definitely not on
Woohoo.
there just because I can say people had a good time. I'm going to adjust that. And I'm going to say we finished the design. We got so dang
Okay, I mean,
close.
I just need to like flip the branches and like
Yeah.
rearrange it,
We
and
finished it. It's
we
it
finished.
if we count the
It's
sketch
like
underneath
so
as finished,
close.
it was finished. So I'll give you a point on the board for that. So I'm gonna go ahead and tally up our points. Our people backstage, the people being me scrolling through the folder with all the points. You got 7 points, which is pretty good.
Hey,
That's pretty dang
okay,
good. Usually it maxes out at like 10 or 15. So
okay,
perfect
it's
amount.
okay.
You absolutely nailed it. I had a great time. I loved watching your process. Seriously, it was
Thank
amazing.
you.
I'm sure people in chat enjoyed it as well. Jess, do you want to let people know where we can find you and if you have anything cool coming up?
Yeah, I you can find me on Instagram at Jess Miller Draws. It's same on all my social platforms, Threads, TikTok, all that. And my website, jessmillerdraws.com. And yeah, hit me up, send me a DM. Like I'm always there to like answer questions and just be a friend.
Love it. DMs are open. We're here to make friends. Well, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for your time. And thank you, everyone in the chat, for watching this week's episode. I'll see you next week with a brand new guest, brand new prompts, and probably a little bit of a different switch up, you know? See you guys later.
Sounds
Bye.
good. Thanks. Bye.